So hey, speaking of evil and comic book synastry, let's talk about Netanyahu because there's an update with him. He is pleading with the Israeli president. So apparently there's a prime minister and a president. I don't know how their government works, but that's standing. And the prime minister of Israel, Netanyahu, is pleading with the president to get a full pardon. And just to remind people, not only is Netanyahu charged with international court charges that the ICC has put an injunction on him, he is also charged with state crimes. This guy is sinister to the bone. This guy is a criminal from the get-go. He is involved in perjury. He's involved in money laundering. He's involved in fraud and schemes and scandals and corruption and so many things up the wazoo. He is a megalomaniac, sinister mastermind, and he is now trying to plea with the president of Israel to get a full pardon on the crimes just being committed within Israel, which even the Israelis are pointing this out. The Israelis that protested against Netanyahu prior to October 7th. Hence why October 7th kind of needed to happen. Not just for the Greater Israeli Project, not just for taking over Palestine, but hey, it distracts you from all the sinister, insane, psychopathic, sociological insanity, malice, evil that this guy has done to people. So here is him begging the president of Israel for a full pardon. Listen to this. Okay, hold on. I'm going to speak really fast, so I'm going to slow this down a bit so people can hear. Citizens of Israel. Almost a decade has passed since the investigations against me began. The trial has been ongoing for nearly 6 years and is expected to continue for many more. Exonerating evidence that completely disproves the false claims against me is revealed in court, and is as it becomes clear that the case against me was built through serious violations. My personal interest was and remains to continue this process to its end. Really. It's just like people that are like so guilty when they know they're involved in a crime. They're like, I'm willing to, respect the full process of this, but I believe the full process is crap. Like, I'm doing my part, but I really hate that they're investigating me. I really hate that they're pointing out the obvious, sinister criminal acts that I've done. Surprised he doesn't just say they're anti-Semitic. Oh, wait, because it's Israeli courts. So, are you going to say your own safe space for the Jews are anti-Semitic because they're prosecuting you? I'd like to see him get out of that shenanigan, but here's some more. Until fully acquittal on all counts. But the security and political reality, the national interest, demands otherwise. Israel faces enormous challenges along tremendous opportunities to counter these threats and seize these opportunities. Yes, counter the threats and seize opportunities. That's the destroy and conquer, right? That's the new phrasing of it. Because you can't say things what they are. Just like you can't say you tortured someone. You did enhanced interrogation. You had a high risk interview process. Can't say you actually tortured someone because, oh my God, that sounds awful. That sounds disparaging, even though that's what it is. Just like here, he's saying that, we're relieving threats and seizing opportunity, meaning that they're killing Palestinians, slaughtering them, and taking their land. That's the opportunity. The opportunity. Then a guy like Netanyahu is trying to convince you why he needs to get a pardon. I just want to remind people of Israel were protesting this guy before October 7th. Hence why they need this war. Hence why they kind of need this war and why it's still ongoing. They don't want peace. They want control of Palestinian territory. They want the Greater Israeli Project. They want Zionists to control. And they also want Netanyahu to keep this war going, because otherwise they're really going to prosecute this guy. Who? The Israelis. Not just the international courts. You know how anti-Semitic they are. Anyway. National unity is essential. The ongoing trial tears us apart from within, fuels fierce disagreements, and deepens divisions. Oh, you mean like when you beat up rabbis and Hasidic Jews in Israel? You mean those kind of divisions when you actually get Zionist thugs to go out to the streets and beat up Jewish people because they're not submissive to the cult? You mean those kind of divisions?
Like
many others that ending the trial immediately would help lower tensions and promote the broad, reclamation our country so desperately needs. No, I think what would bring the country together is for your ass to be hanged in jail. Because nobody, unless you're a bloodthirsty, psychotic, sociopathic Zionist, no one has respect for you. No one. You are a monster. You are a monster. And everything you say is a complete, utter lie. Every time you went to Washington and said, oh, I'm looking to do a peace deal with you. I want peace. I want, Arabs and Jews to live. That's all crap. That's all crap. Because we knew from those videos that surfaced that immediately before he boarded the plane back to Israel, he said, yeah, we're not going to do the peace deal. We're going to still bomb them. We're going to still screw over people. We're still going to do what we do best. Because why would we listen to the U.S. president? We bought out their country, bought out their politicians. We bribed them. We blackmail. We deceive anybody. We will take the world down. But they don't control the world. That's an anti-Semitic trope. I've struggled with this decision. Oh, God. But with recent events, I've tripped the scales. Due to the judicial panel's decision, I'm required to testify 3 times weekly. 3 times. 3 times a week. This is an impossible demand, not required, of any Israeli citizen. I've also, because again, you're the prime minister. You're the leader. You're enforcing people to do this. That's why they're going after you. You are the head kingpin to this operation. That's why they're going after you. That's why people are furious at you. Yes, you can blame certain Israelis for their actions, but you're the one that's orchestrating them. You're the one that's legislating. You're the one that has control over this. And you're the sinister monster that's plotting this destruction. Again, Israelis were protesting this guy before October 7th. I want to make that very, very clear. Very, very clear that even people in the said Jewish homeland, this monster they say is protecting people, they despise him. The Israelis despise Netanyahu. He doesn't have a friend in the world. And the only way he can make acquaintances and friends is blackmailing them, deceiving them, depriving them, calling them anti-Semitic until they cave to his demands. But of course, I can't say that's, dominating the world, because that's a stereotype. So, what exactly is he being charged of? Well, this article from The Conversation came out. What charges does Benjamin Netanyahu face, and what's at stake if he is granted a full pardon? So it says the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has requested a pardon in his long-running corruption trial, a move that has set off alarm bells among his critics that he's trying to circumvent the rule of law. In a video message, Netanyahu says Israel's current security and political situation makes it impossible for him to appear in court several times a week, meaning the war, meaning the genocide. That's why they got to keep this going. That's the excuse. Hey, we can't do justice. We can't have proper jurisdiction because we're dealing with Palestinians or slaughtering them. We can't do jurisdiction. We can't hold people accountable. There's a war going on. Just like how Volodymyr Zelensky keeps this war going, because otherwise he'd be in prison. Just like a lot of people keep wars going because they'd be in prison. That's why you do it. His request for a pardon from Israel's president is just the latest twist in the case that has dragged on for years. It could have significant implications for Israel's legal system and Netanyahu's political future, with elections due next year. So, again, that's why they want to keep this war going. It's for the greater Israeli project. It's to take over the land and whatnot. It's also because Netanyahu is facing criminal trials. It's also the fact that there's an election coming up. And Netanyahu's approval ratings are dropping drastically. Many people are fleeing Israel because of how disastrous Netanyahu has done to their country involving this genocide. The disgrace that he's done for the Israelis and the Jewish faith, claiming that this is what we have to do. We're doing this for you. We're doing this for the Judeo-Christian ethic. We're doing this for Americans' benefit and Canada's benefit. We're doing this for the world's benefit. So honor us or shut the hell up, and you're an anti-Semite if you disagree. So what charges is he facing here? Netanyahu is indisputably the most important political figure of modern Israeli politics. He has been first elected prime minister in 1996 and now is in his 6th term. Yeah, that's a diabolical person. 6th term. And he has a laundry list of criminal indictments on him. He has been indicted on charges of bribery, fraud, and breach of the trust related to the investigations that date back to 2016. There are also 3 cases now known by numbers: Case 1000, Case 2000, Case 4000. The trial began in 2020. In Case 1000, Netanyahu is alleged to have received some $200,000 US worth of gifts, including cigars and champagne, from Hollywood producer Aaron Micklin and Australian billionaire James Packer. In Case 2000 is related to alleged meetings Netanyahu had with Aaron Moses, the publisher of the predominant Yot Aneront newspaper. Prosecutors say Moses offered Netanyahu favorable coverage in exchange for restrictions being imposed on one of his rival newspapers. And the final case, Case 4000, is related to a communications conglomerate, Bezik. The Attorney General alleges another reciprocal agreement. Netanyahu would have been portrayed positive on the online platform. It's alleged in exchange for him supporting regulatory changes that would benefit Bezos' controlling shareholder. Maybe that's why Netanyahu loves visiting America so much, because if he just became an American politician, this is an average day. Maybe that's what he's thinking. Just resign his Israeli citizenship, no longer become a Middle Eastern nefarious ghoul, and become an American. Change his name to Clive Johnson, the representative from Alabama or something. He'll try to blend in. Netanyahu has constantly denied any wrongdoing in the cases, saying he's a victim of a witch hunt. Wow, wonder where he got that from. In 2021, he characterized the charges as fabricated and ludicrous. When he took the stand in 2024, he said, "These investigations were born of sin. There is no offense. He has found no offense." And it's anti-Semitic to point that out. Experts have pointed out that a pardon can only be given once someone's been convicted of a crime. But Netanyahu is not offering to admit any responsibility or guilt in the case. So why would he be asking for a pardon if he knows he's innocent? He would know that. Netanyahu would know that, which means he is guilty. He's lying. And that's why he's reaching out for a presidential pardon. Because he is guilty of those crimes. He is guilty. And that's why he keeps the war going. He is guilty of all the crimes that he has committed. That's why he's doing this phony video to reach out to the president and claiming that it's not just him, it's about national security, it's about the state of Israel that's going to collapse without his ruling like an iron fist. He's simply asking for a pardon so that he can get on with his job. Oh, that's it. I just want the pardon just in case. Apparently that's what Netanyahu thinks. I need the pardon just in case, like a get out jail free card. I didn't realize it's a game of Monopoly. I need the pardon just in case because I'm innocent. I've done nothing wrong, but I kind of need a pardon because, there could be a chance I'm actually guilty. There could be a chance I'm actually guilty. Wow. So here is Middle East Observer tweeting this out. This is supposedly from Channel 13 Hebrew, where it says opposition leader Lapid demands that the president of the entity grant Netanyahu a pardon only if he admits guilt and withdraws from political life. It's just kind of why the whole point of a pardon. But that would mean that Netanyahu would have to reveal that he's guilty of those crimes, which he's not willing to, but he wants the pardon. So, he is a sinister MFer. He is a sinister criminal, but maybe not the smartest criminal to date. Because you would not be reaching out for a pardon at the same time you're saying you're completely innocent. I'm completely innocent, but I really, really, really would like that pardon just in case. Well, why would you need a pardon if you're innocent? Obviously, that means you're guilty and you're lying to us and you're asking for a pardon because you know you're going to go to jail. So, press news. Not only is he guilty of Israeli crimes, but he's guilty of international crimes. So, just in, the ICC, that's the International Court, rejects Israel's appeal. The International Criminal Court has denied Israel's appeal to seeking to cancel the arrest warrants for Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant, confirming that the warrants remain fully in force as part of an ongoing investigations into war crimes and crimes against humanity. So, he is guilty on every level. He is guilty on every level. And there is no amount of deceit, of lies, of betrayal, of screaming anti-Semitism that's going to cover this up, that's going to magically make this disappear. And him going on camera to beg for a pardon really just shot himself in the foot. It really shoots himself in the foot. You don't beg for a pardon if you're completely innocent. You beg for a pardon if you are criminally charged with something and you need to get out. You have to be criminally indicted and actually have a charge that you can be excused from. But Netanyahu is saying that he's innocent and needs the pardon anyway. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. What it shows is that he's lying. It shows that he's lying to cover up the criminal charges that are pending on him because he is guilty. Hence why all this is happening. Hence why he's doing this genocide. Hence why October 7th. Hence why all this. Hence why for years, and I keep showing this to remind people that Netanyahu propped up October 7th. They had every opportunity to stop Hamas from storming in to that music festival. They had every opportunity and they failed to do so purposely because of this. Netanyahu propped up Hamas, this terrorist organization, for years. Just like America propped up Al-Qaeda and ISIS for years through the Mujahideen, because they need terrorist groups to take control of territories so that they can manufacture wars to then fight off the terror and then profit from fighting off the terror. While lives, millions and millions of lives are destroyed between our nations and their nations. These are how sinister these people are. And Benjamin Netanyahu demanding a pardon when he's saying he's innocent, this only makes him more guilty. It only makes him more guilty because he knows he has this. He knows he has the international court to face. He also knows he has all these charges within Israel. Like I said, this guy has no backing. This guy doesn't have a friend in the world unless you are a sinister, bloodthirsty criminal yourself. Or maybe blackmailed to bend the knee to this diabolical monster. It's crazy. And I'm sure that he's gonna, even if he goes to jail, it's going to be a light sentence. It's going to be, like a day spa, just like they do with Ghislaine Maxwell. She went to a low security federal prison where they treat her like royalty. And I'm sure they will do the same with him. But, of course, war criminals don't ever get prosecuted. As in the words of Barack Obama, the reason he didn't prosecute George W. Bush, even though he lied to the entire nation, lied pretty much to the world, no one got prosecuted on the Bush administration because those crimes happened in the past. As far as Netanyahu didn't use that excuse. Those crimes happened in the past. We got to look to the future. Meaning that we got to make sure more criminals are out there that are doing disgusting things to the world. We got to make sure that happens because, God forbid, we actually have honest peace, real leadership, then there goes the entire power structure. And Netanyahu would be locked in prison. And let me just say, I don't want to bring this up to scare people, but just a historical point. He used to burn people to stake for less. I'm not saying to do that to Netanyahu. I'm not saying to do that to anybody. But there was far worse punishments back in the day for a lot less. And Netanyahu's done more than a fair share of criminal, sinister, inhumane, unspeakable acts in the entire world.